Stoicism has been brutalized. What was once a philosophy that focused on self-control and living by virtue has been twisted into a hedonistic trend. Its original meaning has been stripped by communities like the Red Pill groups and the self-help industry. To understand how Stoicism has been distorted, we first need to understand what Stoicism truly is. A quote that captures the true meaning of Stoicism comes from Epictetus. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. To explain this quote further, Stoicism teaches that while events outside of our control may stir emotions within us, we must not let those emotions control the choices we make. At its core, Stoicism is about developing complete self-control, resilience, mental strength, and rationality in the face of life's challenges. With this foundational understanding, we can now begin to break down the forces that have twisted and gentrified Stoicism, starting with the Red Pill community. The Red Pill community is a group of influencers that began to gain massive traction in 2022, largely due to Andrew Tate and his orbiters. On the surface, many of their teachings, like self-improvement and going to the gym, seem like solid general self-help advice. While basic, these principles can genuinely improve people's lives.
One of the reasons I don't really teach games so much is I say, look, if you focus on yourself and make yourself be who you are, being a high-value male, women will detect it and it won't be so difficult for you. It's happened in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, everyone's been heartbroken, I can't remember a specific example, I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong in your payment process, that's when you get fucking inventive. That's business, right? That's when you get inventive. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy.
In both of these clips, Andrew Tate offers solid life advice that, if followed properly, could greatly improve the lives of most lonely men. His message starts off with practical tips that can lead to immediate improvements in their lives. These influencers often target the loneliest, most desperate, and insecure men, promising a quick fix to their perceived shortcomings. After reeling them in with good advice that leads to immediate improvements, they begin to speak to what these men want to hear, not what they need to hear.
Most men are basically invisible. There's not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told to fuck.
They begin to speak to what these men want to hear, not what they need to hear, describing men's lives as a constant struggle and portraying women's lives as easy and without the same loneliness or suffering. These insecure men tend to fall into two overlapping archetypes, both shaped by deep-rooted societal pressures. The first archetype consists of men who are naturally more passive or submissive. Society constantly shames men who don't fit the traditional mold of strength and leadership, discouraging emotional expression and anything that isn't stereotypically manly. But not everyone is meant to be a leader, nor should they be. Despite this, these men often feel inadequate as if they aren't real men. This insecurity drives them to seek validation through the red pill hierarchy of alpha and beta males, believing that their worth is tied to their dominance over others. The second archetype stems from a lack of male role models in modern America. In the US, 1 in 4 children grow up without a father in the home. In school, 77% of teachers are female, with that number going all the way up to 89% in elementary education. Boys raised without strong male figures often struggle to understand what it means to be a man and search for guidance elsewhere, which leads them straight into the arms of influencers who promise to teach them how to be real men. And this leads to an important point. Toxic masculinity isn't real, or at least not in the way most people understand it. Masculinity itself is not toxic. Rather, it is the absence of masculinity, or the insecurity surrounding it, that leads to toxicity. This insecurity is exactly why these influencers co-opted Stoicism. For centuries, Stoicism has been associated with strength, discipline, and resilience, traits often linked to masculinity. It's a philosophy rooted in self-improvement, emotional mastery, virtue, and justice. And very importantly, Stoicism has always emphasized personal responsibility. The idea that you are the only one responsible for your actions, mindset, and growth. The teachings of Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca don't coddle you. They force you to confront your weaknesses and accept that only you can improve your life. This is true tough love. It's about empowering people to develop resilience rather than blaming external factors for their problems. But what these influencers do is not tough love. It's manipulation. Instead of guiding men towards self-mastery, they convince them that the world is rigged against them, that they are victims of society and women are the enemy. They create an us versus them mentality where the only solution is to follow their program, pay for their course, and adopt their ideology. The irony is that while Stoicism teaches emotional control and inner peace, these influencers actively encourage resentment and external validation, the exact opposite of Stoic philosophy. And instead of embracing its true meaning, they twisted it into a shallow formula for getting women, making money, and asserting dominance. What was once a guide to becoming the best version of yourself has been hijacked and repackaged as a tool for external validation. Once these influencers secured their audience's trust, they introduced the final step: a paid course that promises to fix everything wrong with their viewers' lives. These courses are marketed as the ultimate blueprint for success, whether it's mastering wealth, attracting women, or becoming the alpha male.
Hey Wes, how am I going to do it? How do I make millions? How do I become financially secure? You cannot stop. You cannot give up. You're in the most fantastic place on the planet for making money, Hustle University, and the only person who can ruin that is you.
But there's a problem. The real goal of these courses isn't to help men, it's to keep them dependent. Most of these programs operate like high-pressure sales funnels, offering generic, recycled advice that can be found for free. They present self-improvement as a product, rather than something that requires discipline and time. The moment their customers stop seeing results, the influencers convince them the solution is another, even more expensive course. It's a cycle of false hope and perpetual dependence, not actual growth. Again, this is the exact opposite of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches self-reliance, self-discipline, and self-improvement for its own sake. It is about mastering yourself, not following a self-proclaimed alpha who demands payment for advice. What these influencers preach isn't Stoicism, it's a perversion of it. Real Stoicism isn't about domination, it's not about external status, and it's not about chasing validation from others. It's about self-mastery and control. Marcus Aurelius put it best: you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Stoicism teaches that your worth isn't determined by external factors like wealth, external power, or sexual conquest. A man who needs validation from women through status symbols or an internet guru is not in control. He's a slave to his desires. A true Stoic focuses on virtue over status, becoming a better person, not a higher-ranked male, discipline over indulgence, improving through effort, not shortcuts that never give long-term improvements, inner peace over resentment, accepting what you can't control instead of blaming others. The red pill ideology, however, actually purposefully creates insecurity by making men obsess over these external factors such as how women perceive them, how much money they have, and where they rank in a fake social hierarchy. This is once again the opposite of Stoicism, which teaches that the only thing you can and the only thing you should try to control is yourself. While these red pill influencers turn Stoicism into a disgusting, self-serving philosophy through overfocus on masculinity and dominance, the self-help industry suffers from almost the opposite problem, with figures like Ryan Holiday with the Daily Stoic that over-commercialize Stoicism and turns it into easy tips and tricks that again promise to fix everything wrong in your life. It removes any grit or toughness from Stoicism and replaces it with comfort, turning it into a lifestyle brand you tell your friends about so you can feel immediate short-term satisfaction. These self-help gurus focus more about making short, easily digestible videos that only try to give motivation to be better with little advice to actually do so. Motivation is a great tool, yes, however can easily be over-relied on, and that is exactly what these videos aim to do. To make it so you don't actually improve your life, but rather get a dopamine rush from the motivation to do something, rather than long-term gratification from properly working to improve yourself and your life. This commercialization of Stoicism has led to a version of the philosophy that is passive, sanitized, and marketable, one that promises wisdom without effort and growth without struggle. Figures like Ryan Holiday have transformed Stoicism into a brand, one that sells books, merchandise, and daily reminders to just be better, yet often lacks the depth and discipline that true Stoicism demands. Real Stoicism isn't about feel-good motivation, it's about enduring hardship, mastering your impulses, and developing a character rooted in virtue. But modern self-help Stoicism is designed to be comforting rather than challenging. It offers easy-to-digest quotes and daily affirmations, repackaging an ancient philosophy into something palatable for mass consumption. The issue isn't that Holiday and others are spreading Stoic ideas. If anything, their work has introduced more people to the philosophy. The problem is that they present Stoicism as a quick fix for modern problems, stripping it of its depth and struggle. True Stoicism doesn't give you instant relief or an easy roadmap to success. It forces you to take responsibility for your suffering and work through it with discipline, rather than seeking comfort in motivational content. This version of Stoicism, much like Red Pill Stoicism, is about external validation. It just presents itself in a more socially acceptable way. Instead of chasing dominance, wealth, and women, followers of commercialized Stoicism chase the aesthetic of being a Stoic without actually practicing the philosophy. They consume content, buy journals, and share quotes, but rarely engage in real work of self-improvement, which requires constant self-examination and action. In the end, both the Red Pill and self-help industries have twisted Stoicism to fit their narratives. One sells control through dominance, while the other sells comfort disguised as wisdom. But true Stoicism is neither about control nor comfort. It's about discipline, virtue, and inner strength. I would like to take the time at the end of this video to say thank you for watching. If this is your first time here, welcome. If it isn't, welcome back. I'm happy to see you again. My next upload will be next Friday, but until then, I'm out.